Well, I haven't played Roblox since 2017, and yeah, that was 8 years ago. But apparently, Roblox has changed a lot since then, to the point that even some adults enjoy playing it. So I thought, why not give it a shot and see how much Roblox has truly changed over the years? And so to do that, I'll be playing the top 5 games on Roblox. Or at least I'm assuming they're the top games, because even though it says recommended for you, I'm just playing on this new account I made, Glumble99. Yeah, I know, amazing name. But yeah, since it's a new account and they're just a bunch of these random games, I'm just assuming these are all the top games. And so I'm just going to be spending like a few minutes on each game, maybe about 20 to 30 minutes on each game, just to see how good they are and to see how much Roblox has changed over the past few years. Because apparently, if something is good, it should catch your attention in like just a few minutes or something. So, yeah, I'm just going to play these games and see how much Roblox has changed. Okay, so the first game I played was this game called Summer Blue Lock Rivals, which kind of looks like it's about anime and football. So the first thing I did was check out the lobby, which honestly looked pretty cool with a bunch of animations and stuff. And there were things like a shop and emotes. I could also spin wheels to win prizes like most mobile games, so it was pretty decent. But after that, I decided to actually play the game itself. It was pretty fun. Started off with introducing all the players like some anime opening sequence. The game was basically what I expected, football but with anime. There were these really weird cutscenes where the players had eggs and everyone was just emoting when they won. I guess little kids enjoy emotes, and I somehow managed to score a goal myself and do a little emote dance as well. So, am I an official Roblox player now? Am I? And also, for some weird reason, Diddy was here. So, naturally, feeling unsafe, I instantly returned to the lobby. And there was also an AFK world if you enjoy going AFK. But overall, the game was pretty fun, and I decided to rate the games as well to see how much I like them, just for fun. And I've decided to rate the games based off these three aspects, which are graphics, mechanics, and overall how easy it is to learn, which I feel like is important to any new player. So for the graphics, I would rate this easily an 8 out of 10. There are definitely a lot of cool animations and stuff like that, which definitely makes the game look not as boring. And the mechanics, I would also rate it an 8 out of 10 just because they've already like shown us which buttons do what, so it makes things pretty easy. And for the easiness itself, I would rate it a 9 out of 10, which means it's pretty easy to learn, especially as a new player. So overall, I rate this game a 25 out of 30. So the next game I decided to play was called Dead Rails, and this game is actually the reason I decided to make this video. Because a few days ago, videos of this game popped up on my For You page on YouTube, and apparently was one of the most popular games on Roblox recently, so naturally I had to try it out. The lobby looked like an old western movie, so I'm assuming that's what the game is about: trains, cowboys, dinosaurs. So I decided to play the game myself. You could apparently play this game in multiplayer, but I decided to try it solo at first. I also tried multiplayer after that, but no one joined. And quick side note, since I had watched a few videos about this game beforehand, as mentioned earlier, I already kind of knew what I was doing. Kind of. So basically, the goal of the game is to fuel up your train, ride it along the tracks, and stop by buildings and stuff to kill monsters and find loot, which you can then sell for money to buy weapons and tools. And I'm not sure if the game has an end or if it goes on forever, but either way, it was pretty fun and definitely enjoyable despite dying multiple times. Also, I didn't really make it that far in the game, but apparently there are even boss fights like Nikola Tesla himself, and damn, bro looks buff. But overall, to rate this game, I definitely give the graphics a solid 6.5 out of 10 because even though the graphics were pretty good, it wasn't anything too bright or flashy, and honestly, it was pretty basic, honestly, with everything just looking like a regular Roblox game, being super blocky and stuff. However, for the mechanics, I will give it a solid 9.5 out of 10 because other than your regular WASD and space keys, the only other keys we used are F2 empty or fill up your sack, E to equip an item, or R to reload a game. The only reason I didn't give it a full 10 out of 10 is because if you want to buy anything from a store, you have to drag it from the table and place it on the counter and then click on the register to buy it, which could be sort of tedious if you plan on buying multiple items at once. However, for how easy the game was, I give it a 7 out of 10 because even though the objective of the game is pretty easy on its own, early game the game is still kind of hard because when you start the game, you're only given a sack and a shovel. The sack basically is used to store your items, and the shovel is basically used to kill enemies. But the thing is, the shovel doesn't really do much damage to like even the most basic enemies like the zombie. However, the zombies themselves can do quite a bit of damage to us, the player. And there are also other enemies like cowboys who have guns. And so, yeah, with a shovel, you definitely don't stand a chance. It might get easier later on in the game once you have enough money to buy guns and stuff, but early game, it is kind of hard and you do need some skill. But overall, this game gets a solid 23 out of 30, which isn't bad, but I thought the game was going to be more fun seeing as how popular it is. Anyway, on to the next game. It's called Grow a Garden. Now, this game is insanely simple. The whole objective is to just plant your crops, harvest them, sell them for money, and repeat. That's it. It is ridiculously simple. I did see some players with huge farms filled with animals and giant plants, so there are either some dedicated players who have spent hours on this game, or they just spend Robux. And I tried asking some of them for giant plants that I could sell for money, but they were like, well, anyway, on to the ratings. For the graphics, just like Dead Rails, I give it a 6 out of 10 just for how mediocre and simple they are. But then again, it does give some Roblox nostalgia, seeing that it's not too over the top. However, for the mechanics, I will give it a 10 out of 10 because, as I mentioned earlier, the game is insanely simple. You just plant your crops, harvest them, sell them for money, and repeat. And for how easy the game is, well, you guessed it, it's a 10 out of 10. It's extremely simple. Even a 5-year-old could figure out what you have to do in this game. And so overall, the total rating comes down to a 26 out of 30, which is shockingly the highest rating out of all three games so far. The last game I played is called Galaxy Blox Fruits. It starts off with you being able to choose to either be a pirate or marine, and being a huge One Piece fan, I had to go with pirates. The game is essentially a fighting slash roleplay game. You talk to some NPCs, do some quests, earn money and XP to buy better weapons and upgrade your stats. But I'm not sure if you can actually fight other players in this game, because no matter who I tried to hit, they just wouldn't take any damage. So I was just left fighting these NPCs instead, and it cost $5,000 to buy my first Blox Fruit, which proved to take quite a lot of time, and I got bored of fighting NPCs, so I just left the game. But after searching on YouTube, it seems that Blox Fruits give you powers that you can use to fight stronger enemies later on. But anyway, now for the ratings. For the graphics, I give this an 8 out of 10 because even though the graphics and animations aren't as flashy as the football game from earlier, the animations are still pretty cool. As for the mechanics, I give it a 7 out of 10 because even though the mechanics are not that hard, having to constantly check your stats is still kind of tedious. And finally, for how easy the game is, I give it a 7 out of 10 as well. But the thing is, I'm not really too sure how easy this game is because, as I mentioned earlier, I've only spent a few minutes on each game, and I'm not sure if the game gets easier or harder as you progress. But as a baseline, I'm just giving it a 7. And so finally, this brings our total rating to 22 out of 30, which, even though isn't that bad, is still the lowest out of all 4 games. And so, with all that said, it's time to answer the question: has Roblox changed much over the years? Well, some people might say it has changed significantly, while others say it hasn't changed much. I say it's a little bit of both. Because, in one hand, you have games like Dead Rails and Grow a Garden, which do remind me of Roblox games from my childhood, with how blocky the game looks and also how simple the games are. But on the other hand, you have games like Blue Lock Rivals and Blox Fruits, which have some really nice animations, and the games are a little more complex as well, since you can even do side quests to earn rewards. So, in conclusion, I would say Roblox has changed quite a bit, but mainly to a point that it seems to have evolved as a game rather than become an entirely different game itself. And whether that's a good thing or not, well, that's up to you. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content.